Greetings, I'm Jonathan Spirit. I'll probably make a Cobbleworks today, and welcome to Age of Engineering Supershorts. Look, an ultimate hybrid solar panel. I'll probably use it to power my IC2 machines when I make my Cobbleworks. But that's not what I want to make right now. Instead, I want to set up crafting infrastructure. But first, I want to set up a P2P network, which is a kind of complicated can of worms, but I hope I'll be able to explain it to you properly. Remember how each side of a controller lets you have 8 channels? And each channel allows you one link to an information processing device? It's quite the limit, isn't it? Well, there's a better option, dense cables that give you 32 channels. However, the more controllers you have and the more dense cables you want to create, the more lines you'll have to make. And often, to get them where you want to go, you have to run them side by side, and that is really tedious. A P2P tunnel basically lets you teleport channels over an AE2 network. So if you connect several dense cables to P2P tunnels and run all of the P2P tunnels down one small line, then you can set up more P2P tunnels at the end of the line, link them to your old P2P tunnels, and teleport all of your channels to the other side. There's a problem. P2P tunnels themselves take channels. So isn't it a waste to run P2P tunnels when you can just set up a bunch of dense cables even though it's a mess? No, because there's something I told you last episode. Ad hoc networks. You can slap any old cable on the ground and it'll act as its own network of 8 channels as long as you give it power. Quartz fibers transfer power without connecting two networks, so we can easily set up an ad hoc network just for the P2P tunnels to run down. 2 P2P tunnels. Once you get a lot of P2P tunnels, it's easy to get mixed up in the nameless flood of links. Unless, of course, you have a quartz cutting knife. If you right-click with the quartz cutting knife, you can put in a piece of iron and name it. And that'll give you an inscriber name press. I'm going to make 2, one called crafting and one called 1. Now I have to put a P2P tunnel inside the inscriber, and give it one name press at the top and the other at the bottom. I'll get a P2P tunnel called crafting 1. Never mind, this is totally useless. Sorry, you'll just have to keep careful track of your P2P tunnels, which is something I will definitely not do and regret it later. Oh well, now we need to make dense cables. Glass cables with wool gives you covered cables. Those with resin and glowstone give you dense cables. Don't worry, I only need 1. This is so much easier than crafting these things by hand. 32 annihilation cores and 32 formation cores. 16 ME interfaces, and 16 molecular assemblers. While interfaces hold crafting patterns, molecular assemblers actually craft them. Interfaces are smart enough to distribute recipes to any machines nearby, so all we need is to hook these up together. Only interfaces need channels, not molecular assemblers, so this dense cable, which holds 32 channels, should be able to support 32 interfaces. My only bottleneck is not having enough circuits to make 32 more logic processors. I'm going to set up what I think is called a chandelier. It works like this, and you stack it up 4 times, because all AE2 machines actually channel channels. So you can have 8 interfaces connected to each other, and as long as one of them is connected to a cable with 8 channels free, all 8 interfaces will work. I'll place a cable anchor like this so I can connect the cables like this, and they'll each only connect to one chandelier. Finally, I can connect a dense cable like this, so each cable gets its 8 channels. Finally, I need a memory card. I'll place a P2P tunnel here, and shift right click it with the memory card to start the link. I'll place the other P2P tunnel here, and right click it with the memory card to complete the link. Now I need to set up the ad hoc network. I have them linked, but they're still offline because this glass cable doesn't have any power. Thankfully, all I need to fix that is the quartz fiber. I'll place it here to connect it to power and connect up this cable. Now it says the device is on and linked. And this dense cable says I'm using 16 of its channels. I'm going to place my Cobbleworks near here, but I do need to power the one IC2 machine I have, so why not repower all of them? I'll need an MFE, which can output high voltage, and a lot of transformers. 23 of them. 23 MB transformers, this was harder than it looks, and 23 transformer upgrades. I'll place my MFE here, and connect my machines one by one. With this ultimate hybrid solar panel connected to the main line, I won't have to worry about power for a while. Look at it go. This is where my Cobbleworks will go, with a cobblestone generator in the middle. I'll need a macerator, a sag mill, and 2 alloy smelters. I'll place my macerator here with the transformer upgrade, then hook it up. I just ran another wire down here for ender energy conduits. I'll place my sag mill here, my alloy smelters here and here. This cobblestone generator will extract on green, and the sag mill, macerator, and alloy smelter will insert on green. This alloy smelter will insert on brown, and the other 3 machines will extract on brown. This macerator will extract on round robin, so that means that some of the sand will go to the drawers and other sand will go to the alloy smelter to get turned into glass. We're safe for stone, gravel, and flint because none of those smelt, so none of them will go into the alloy smelter. Of course, this alloy smelter will also extract on brown. and all of this will redirect into a controller slave, which is crafted like this, and acts like the drawer controller in that it lets you extract and insert into the whole storage drawer network. Finally, I'll set all these extracts to always active. And once I speed the Ender IO machines up, my Cobbleworks will be complete. Now I can finish the crafting of pure crystals. Actually, scratch that, I forgot about the sag mill. Let's do one more thing. I'll place the sag mill here, powered through the back, and connect it to the bottom with push-pull. I've connected an interface up to the bottom. By the way, I added a Fluix recipe to this interface. Last time when I crafted Fluix crystals, I experienced a problem. If I asked for, say, a stack, I would get, of course, a stack of quartz and redstone and other quartz. But the precision dropper would take time to drop all of that one type of quartz. And it was actually possible for some of the materials to die before enough materials fell to start making Fluix crystals. That's why I set the semi-interface to blocking mode. Once it outputs a set of crafting items, it'll wait until this inventory is empty to do another one. So all of the materials for one set of Fluix crystals will drop, and then a new set of materials will come in. I'll never have to wait for 64 nether quartz and 64 redstone to drop before the Certus quartz starts dropping and the Fluix crystals start forming. Let's set up a pattern for nether quartz dust, which I'll put into the interface, and now I can set up a pattern for quartz glass, which I'll put in my chandelier. Now I can set up a pattern for blank patterns. With Fluix dust, I'm able to set up patterns for annihilation and formation cores, and now the interface. I'll make an interface terminal, and connect it with the other grids. With a facade, of course. Now I can right-click it and access all of my interfaces so I can put patterns into them directly. Which, trust me, is way better than going and finding them and putting them in by hand. That's pretty much it for AE2 basic infrastructure. You know you have AE2 down when you can craft everything that AE2 needs, like crafting units. And that's it for today's episode. Next episode, well, I guess we'll find out, but it will definitely involve automation. I'll admit, I'm excited that I finally surpassed the episode of my previous series. I did not expect to have that much time this school year, but I'm glad that I did, and I hope to get back to the level I was in my last series too. As always, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I hope you enjoyed.